Hello there guys, my name is MrYorkiesWorld, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to be doing another subscriber requested area. We are in Queenstown, Australia at the moment. Apologies for the stutter, and what you see in the bottom right, the 120 FPS, is not the actual FPS value. I've actually got the camera window, or camera control window, docked to my second screen, so for some reason that then causes the FPS counter to sort of play up. But we're in the Cessna 172 in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. This is the preview build. Again, as always, things will probably be wrong with it, there will be errors and there will be issues, but nevertheless, just look at how gorgeous this particular scenery looks. So the airport we're actually at is November Zulu Quebec November, and we are currently at runway 23. And what we're going to do, if I can just bring up the let me zoom out a little bit. If I can just bring up little nav map, which is what I'm using for this particular flight, for the tracking and everything, to see where we are. This is where we are at the moment, on runway 23 at Queenstown. And we are going to be departing all the way, following the gorgeous sort of water bodies here, around the mountains and stuff like that, all the way up to about here, and then we're going to turn back around, and I'm going to attempt to land. We'll probably land downwind on runway 05, or I might decide to come through here, sort of go around sort of the edge of the mountains, come back on myself and run runway 23, because that's where the wind is telling us that ideally we should be landing. So nevertheless, put that onto the opposite window. Let me just make sure that this particular window is docked. There we go. And we're going to jump into the cockpit. I've already set everything up. We've got initial altitude set at 1,500. We're going to enable the autopilot shortly after takeoff, which will take us up to 1,500 on runway heading at about 600 feet per minute. So without further ado, let's get this party started. I'm also going to be throwing in some cinematic footage of the airport and the surrounding areas as well at the end of this video, so keep a lookout for that. So let's release the parking brake, and I'm going to throttle straight up. You will notice some stutter, and this is one of the main reasons that I've been saying to everybody that I use high settings. Although I've got a 2080 Ti and an i9 9900K, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can use a simulator on Ultra and not get stuttering, and I prefer to be completely stutter free if I can help it. So I'm going to take off, and you'll immediately notice shortly after takeoff the stutter start to set in. But just look at this. I'm going to enable the autopilot nice and early. Look how gorgeous this looks. And there's the stuttering. Let's just look at that. I've probably ruined that there, actually, getting the wrong view. I'm trying to use a controller at the same time as the mouse and keyboard to have a look around, but that looks absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. And look at that lovely water body there. Again, you're going to notice some issues straight away with the scenery. Let me just change the heading. When we turn, that's when you're going to notice the stuttering happening a little bit more often. But unfortunately, again, this is the preview build, so this is what to expect. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous scenery though. And if I get rid of the external camera view here, put it sort of close it down, you can see we're getting 57, maybe 60 FPS. So it's not bad at all, really. Look at that view. And this one is even more stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. Magnificent. So this is one of the probably most requested sort of areas that I've been asked to do. which is exactly why we're doing it, is because I've always wanted to visit Queenstown in the simulator, just for the sort of terrain, the mountains, and things like that. I would love, at some point in my life, to potentially visit here in real life, but that's for another time, unfortunately, with the current climate. You can see the speed's looking good. We've not got any flaps, we don't need flaps, and we're already at 1500, so you can start to see it was a relatively small airport, and this is what I was arguing in my previous video with the settings in the comments section. 1080p, 60 FPS in a stock aircraft, in a 2080 Ti, with a 2080 Ti and an i9-9900K, and still we get stutter. So you can imagine what it's going to be like if I try and crank that up all the way to ultra on everything. But I am absolutely fascinated by how gorgeous things look. Absolutely beautiful indeed. And again, all of these areas here will be featured sort of more close up towards the end of this video, and I'll go quiet as always so you can listen to the ambient noise that the sim gives off. But absolutely gorgeous, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I should probably make a bit of a turn so we don't go crashing into the side of that mountain. And again, turning seems to set off the stutter, specifically at this airport, but look at that. Looking absolutely gorgeous. Cannot fault it. Cannot fault it at all. And I don't know how many people are excited for Flight Simulator 2020 to be released on Tuesday next week, but I certainly am. And as ever, I'm going to have the Premium Deluxe version of the simulator. I was originally just going to get the standard version and then upgrade, the same as what a lot of people were, but then I realised the Premium Deluxe version comes with the Boeing 787-10, which I haven't even tested that out in P3D yet, so I'm certainly going to have to try it out in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm going to make a slight turn to the right here, just so that we keep on profile. If we look at little nav map here, we're going to have to make another right turn in a moment to go up into this little valley here. But this is for those of us who, or those of you who have wanted to see this amazing, amazing scenery in Queenstown. It really is magnificent. And I'm sure I called it yeah, I did. I called it Australia at the beginning of this video. Apologies, Queenstown is not Australia, that's Queensland. This is Queenstown in New Zealand. So apologies about that slight error there. It's been a long, long day. So let's have a look with the drone camera and have some looks around at the aircraft, or have a look around at the aircraft. Again, using the Xbox controller. Absolutely stunning, look at that. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I should have set the tail number. I was going to put Yorkie on there, which is what I usually do, but it doesn't really matter. One thing I have found out is you can zoom in all the way with the showcase camera, the drone camera, inside like this, which will allow you to put any view in place that you like, including the ones that are already there. You can switch off the autofocus as well, because it makes everything look a little bit blurry when you're inside the aircraft, which is probably not where you should be with the drone camera anyway. But there we go. Let's go back into the cockpit, and we're going to begin our turn to the right. Again, you can still use the analog stick, the right analog stick of the Xbox controller when you're inside the cockpit, in the cockpit view, to have a look around. And it does look really, really nice. Now you can see speed's looking good, altitude's still looking good. Look at the reflections coming from those mountains. There's a lot of work to be done. Obviously they're not perfect, but they're a lot better than what we've ever had, I think, in a stock sort of simulator. Another slight turn to the right here. But yeah, I am so excited for the 18th. Look at that view. For the 18th this month, Tuesday next week, to finally get my hands on this simulator in all of its glory in the final version. I've had a lot of requests, and obviously I am still going to be fulfilling those requests when the simulator is released. So don't go worrying about that. I'm not going to stop doing these videos. Try and make a daily video if I can. And we will get through the absolute plethora of requests that I've had over the past few days and weeks of videos that people want me to make. And despite common belief, people do actually want to see these short videos, these flights around, and the cinematic style videos. So that's exactly what I've been doing. A lot of people are saying, what's the point in doing it while it's still in a preview? Well, the point in doing it is because people want to see it, and that's what they're requesting. So that is why I am creating the content that I'm creating. And not only that, but I enjoy it. So a slight deviation in the plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a right turn slightly here, and we're going to come back on ourselves, because I really want to try, look at that, I really want to try that approach into runway 23 at Queenstown. So slightly to the right, and then a left turn south 180, or near enough, a little bit more maybe, to come back on ourselves and look at the gorgeous, gorgeous scenery. The sunshine, the reflections. Absolutely mind-blowing. It truly is remarkable being able to use this simulator. Not sure what the weird effects happening here, like the reflection effect, but I'm sure that's something that'll be cleared up in the final version of the simulator. So if we look here on Little Nav Map again, this is where we've come so far. From runway 23 we've made it all the way through this valley. We've come up, we've turned around, and we're going to go back. But what I'm going to try to do is sort of maybe fly over the airport, maybe either through this way and then up around and do it that way, or through this way and around. Maybe this way. It looks like if we come in here, go around this sort of mountain and then come back, that might be possible. But we'll have to see what we can do. And then we'll get some cinematics on the go after that. But I am extremely happy, as I said. Get some more showcase view on the go. Look at that wing view. Let me get it right on the tip. Right on the tip of the wing. Although the aircraft isn't really in view there. There we go. Or in focus. And again, I can go as far out as I want with the drone camera. I'm using the Xbox controller here. Can do exactly what I want. Could even make a... This is how I made one of my intros, actually. Or the intro to this video and most of my others. Decided to update it, seeing as we've got a new simulator. But it just adds so much more functionality having the drone camera there. Look at that. So the stutters do go away as we get further away from the airport, but you will notice that they seem to come back again as we get closer and closer to the airport. So again, anything performance wise is probably going to be corrected in the final version of the simulator. So for now it's not really a concern of mine to be seeing all these imperfections, because obviously we know that this is not the final version of the product. So here we come back through that valley. You can see here this is where we are. And we've got to go all the way across and somehow manage to vector ourselves into the right place. So I'm sure we'll be fine. But the detail on the aircraft is lovely as well. This is something I've not really gone into while I'm at it. The detail on this aircraft is second to none as well, to say this is a stock aircraft. I'll be interested to see what the performance is going to be like in, for example, the PMDG 737, because we're at 60 FPS at the moment, but with a lot of stutter when we're in built-up areas. So you can only imagine, this is one of the main reasons that I was telling people I only use high settings, because I've got a funny feeling that when the add-ons start rolling out, people are going to have to lower those settings anyway. So you might be using Ultra right now, but it's always been the same case with simulators. It's near enough impossible to get a solid FPS, 60 FPS, nice and smooth, at the same time as having everything cranked to the max with add-ons. It's just not... I still don't think it's possible, not even with this new generation of flight simulation. But look at that sun. I love how it's reflecting off of the dash and everything. Absolutely mind-blowing. So at this stage, if we make a slight turn to the left, just a little bit of a correction, we're actually heading directly for the airport. The wind is currently about 200 at 2, so it's quite calm really, but we still could do with landing at runway 23. That's the more favourable runway. Loving the terrain, absolutely gorgeous. Here comes those stutters again, because we're getting closer to the airport. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I keep going back to the cockpit view and it does that. Let me just reset position. There we go. So now when I click it, it should go back. There we go. But I love what's happening here with the shoreline as well. There's a little bit of a bug because the water will suddenly start travelling upwards in some sections, which is obviously something that's going to be corrected in time. And here come those stutters again. But look at the trees, the vegetation. We've got some traffic over there as well. Some cars. Little bit of popping in as well that's happening. But overall, with 1, 2, maybe even 3 settings cranked up to Ultra and the rest on high, I don't think there's much of a difference really between high and Ultra Don't know what's going on up there. So you can see the runway lights over there somewhere. I've just seen them flash once. There we go. And this little hump here in the on the ground, we're going to try and go around that and come back on ourselves onto runway 23. Whether or not that plan actually works is another story. We've got a little bit of, I guess, maybe like artifacts happening over there. And this is what I meant by the water doesn't really look the best. Look at that. It's a bit unusual, isn't it? Again, it's another bug which will undoubtedly be fixed in the final version of the simulator. So I'm going to take the power down a little bit, just because we need to be doing some tight manoeuvres in a minute, but look at this. Got the cars, we've got the buildings. Let me know if your house is anywhere around here. Again, I don't know New Zealand very well. But I do know it looks absolutely gorgeous. In the simulator, at least. Right, so we are basically heading directly for the runway, but remember, we're not going to be landing just yet. We're going to do a circle first, because the wind is favouring runway 23. What I will do, I'm going to keep the same altitude. We can drop that off quite rapidly, in fact, if we needed to. It's a little bit difficult to see when the sun shines up there. It just adds an extra level of immersion. But look at that, absolutely gorgeous. We're going to keep following the instruments. Everything's looking good on the PFD. Just going to try to manually avoid all the terrain. There's the runway. It's runway 05. We need to be at the other end. Major lag spike there. And this will actually give us a better opportunity to see a little bit more of the town as well. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to make this turn to the left. And again, round this mountain, if that is at all possible. Just trying to watch the altitude as well, not to get too low. We've got a bridge over there. Which is apparently Jim's Way. This is called, according to Little Nav Map. Look at that. Lovely. So I don't want to get too low here. I think we should be okay. However, I may take manual control just for the sake of being able to increase my altitude a little bit. And we'll do a bit of hand flying. Because I don't want to get too close to the ground. Starting a right turn. And if we go over this body of water, we should turn out the other end pretty good, in a pretty good position. I'm going to go with flat 1, or the first level of flaps, just for the sake of it. Look at that. And again, this should give us the chance to be in a perfect position. A little bit of trimming. So for those of you wondering, can you do Ultra in Flight Simulator 2020? Yeah, you can. But be prepared for what I'm suffering right now, which is a plethora of stutters, which, if that's not something that bothers you, fair enough, but personally, I don't like them. There's the runway. I'm going to go to the next level of flaps. And again, I'm going to trim. We've got visual on the runway. I'm going to go to maximum level of flaps now. Just trim accordingly. And we will try to land as best we can. 500. There's 500 feet. I would probably say this is one of the nicest looking areas that I've seen in the simulator. It was a highly recommended and highly requested area, was New Zealand, Queenstown. So here we are in Queenstown, about to land. 2 reds, 2 whites, as we make this turn. A little bit low now according to the pappies, but that's okay. And here we go. See if we can make a decent landing. Throttle all the way back. Oops, that was a bit bumpy. Not too bad though. See if we can take this exit here to the left. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Lovely little VFR circuit there. Didn't go as far as what I wanted to go, but that's okay, I'm not really too bothered. Can bring the flaps up. Absolutely beautiful. And obviously the next stage is just literally to taxi this aircraft back to the stand. So I hope you enjoyed that short flight. Again, I'm going to show off some cinematic shots now of the Queenstown airport and obviously the Queenstown area. Don't know what's going off with the building over there. The textures look a bit flickery, but there we go. Please bear in mind, this is a preview build, as I said in the beginning. Hope you enjoyed. Leave me a like if you did. Leave me a comment if you'd like to request another area. Again, I'm absolutely inundated with areas and requests for areas, but I will still try my best, even after the simulator's been released, to get those areas done. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.